Have you ever truly known your neighbors? You might exchange pleasantries, borrow a cup of sugar, or wave from across the street. But what if the friendly face next door concealed a chilling secret? What if the person you trusted, the one you saw every day, was leading a terrifying double life? This isn't the plot of a horror movie. For the residents of a quiet suburban street, this was a real-life nightmare. Today, we're delving into a story that shatters the illusion of safety and exposes the darkness that can lurk just a few feet from our own front doors. It all began in a neighborhood that could have been anywhere in the world. Manicured lawns, kids playing in the street, the familiar rhythm of everyday life. Among the residents was a man we'll call Mr. Peterson. By all accounts, he was the model neighbor. He was quiet, kept to himself, but was always polite. He'd offer a hand with heavy groceries, join in the neighborhood watch meetings, and even hosted a yearly barbecue that everyone looked forward to. He seemed completely ordinary, maybe even a little boring. No one would have ever suspected the horrifying truth he was hiding in plain sight. The first cracks in this peaceful facade appeared subtly. A local woman vanished without a trace. It was tragic, but in a large city, such things unfortunately happen. The community was saddened, police posters went up, and life, for the most part, moved on. Then, a few months later, another person disappeared. And then another. A quiet sense of unease began to ripple through the town. Police were baffled. There were no witnesses, no ransom notes, and no clear connections between the victims, other than they were all from the same general area. The disappearances were clean, almost too clean, as if the victims had simply evaporated into thin air. Fear began to creep into the community, locking doors that were once left open and eyeing strangers with suspicion. Meanwhile, Mr. Peterson continued his routine. He'd still wave to his neighbors, tend to his garden, and offer his condolences when the news of another disappearance broke. He seemed just as concerned as everyone else. One neighbor later recalled a conversation where Peterson said, "It's just terrible, isn't it? You can't feel safe anywhere these days." The chilling irony of that statement would only become clear much later. He was a master of deception, wearing a mask of normalcy that was so convincing it deflected any and all suspicion. He blended in perfectly, becoming part of the background noise of the neighborhood he was terrorizing. The breakthrough in the case came from something completely unexpected, a small, seemingly insignificant detail that a sharp-eyed detective refused to let go of. While reviewing security footage from a street near where one of the victims was last seen, the detective noticed a familiar, unremarkable car drive by, the same make and model as Mr. Peterson's. On its own, it meant nothing. It was a common car and the street was public. But the detective's gut told him to dig deeper. He started looking into Peterson's background, and what he found was the first thread that would unravel everything. Peterson had a minor criminal record from years ago, something long forgotten. It wasn't much, but it was enough to secure a warrant for a closer look. What investigators found when they entered Mr. Peterson's house was the stuff of nightmares. The home that looked so normal from the outside was a meticulously organized house of horrors. Behind a locked door in the basement, they discovered personal items belonging to every single one of the missing people. Jewelry, wallets, keys, even photographs. It was a gruesome collection of trophies, a cold, calculated catalog of his crimes. The man who hosted neighborhood barbecues was a methodical, ruthless serial killer. The friendly neighbor was a monster. The evidence was overwhelming, and the truth crashed down on the community like a tidal wave. The shock and horror were unimaginable for the neighbors. The person they had shared meals with, the man whose lawn they had admired, was responsible for the terror that had gripped their town. One neighbor recounted, "I can't wrap my head around it. My kids played in his yard. He gave them candy on Halloween. How could we have been so blind?" This is the most terrifying part of the story. The killer wasn't a shadowy figure lurking in the alleys. He was a part of the community. He used his normalcy as a weapon, a form of camouflage that allowed him to operate without suspicion. He exploited the very trust that holds a neighborhood together. The psychological impact on the residents was profound. The sense of safety was shattered. Suddenly, every friendly face held a potential threat. The familiar streets felt alien and dangerous. How could they ever trust anyone again? This case serves as a chilling reminder that evil doesn't always wear a scary mask. Sometimes it wears the face of a friend, a colleague, or a neighbor. It teaches us that while we should live with open hearts, we must also remain vigilant and trust our instincts. If something feels off, it often is. The lines between the ordinary and the terrifying can be terrifyingly thin. The story of the killer next door isn't just a true crime tale, it's a cautionary one. It forces us to ask ourselves uncomfortable questions about the people we let into our lives and the assumptions we make about them. It highlights the importance of community awareness and looking out for one another, not just with friendliness, but with a discerning eye. The greatest defense we have is our intuition and our willingness to speak up when something doesn't seem right. The quietest streets can sometimes hide the loudest screams, and the most ordinary-looking houses can conceal the most extraordinary darkness. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into a truly unsettling case. It's a stark reminder that reality can be far more frightening than fiction. What are your thoughts on this? Could you ever imagine this happening in your neighborhood? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this story compelling and want to explore more cases that reveal the hidden side of human nature, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world. Stay safe, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next video.